WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I am your host, Christian Toma. To my left, that's Nagatron. That's David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA. As always, if you're not watching this on battleviewer.com, go over to that right now and check it out. And also follow us on Twitter, @WGLNA, so you guys can stay up to date what's happening in the league around you.
And also check out the question of the day, which is which team's roster changes do you think will help them the most?
I initially said Lamp. They played. It didn't look like it did so much, or at least Mort didn't put the team on his back. So I might have to go ahead and switch and say Synergy.
Although Lamp did look better than they were. But either way,
Sure.
yeah, I'm going to have to go with Synergy this one.
All
I
right.
think,
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, our fourth and final matchup is ready for the night. 07 versus Rival. On the side of 07, we've got Meadowhawk for you for the face-off. Rival, we have Spanish. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
Nice to see you guys again.
Hola.
Hola, indeed. Meadowhawk, going to go ahead and start with you, sir. Now, it's something that we've been kind of asking people tonight. Out of you guys have played most of the candidates for this Gold League Season 1. Who do you guys think, besides yourself, is the best team?
Yeah, that's a good question. Due to our schedule this year, we've almost played all the teams, Meow. So, Meow, what you laughing at, boys?
Oh, David said a funny joke. Please continue, Christian.
Okay, Meow. Okay, so as you know, we've played almost all the teams, Meow. And I would say, like I said before, the middle of our season was the hardest, where we played all the top teams currently. And I would say it's going to be a toss-up between Team Refuse and High Voltage. I mean, High Voltage is just kind of waiting in the wings for Team Refuse to make a mistake. Plus, they still have that game in hand. So I'd ultimately go with High Voltage. They have so much skill, and just like they've been so swift and devastating in matches that I've watched so far.
All right, definitely a team that has been showing that they are climbing extremely quickly in this league up to date. Thank you so much for that response.
all right, Meow. What do you think your team needs to improve on the most, Meadowhawk?
Right now, we
Communication.
need to really focus on, communication's a big one, but generally it's just working as a team. We currently have a lot of guys that haven't played in Gold League, and it's really affecting how pushes are working and just overall communication. So it's just bonding as a team. I think that we haven't really done that very well.
All right, I was just saying communication because it seemed like there was a certain word that keeps slipping in every time he tries to talk. But that being said, Spanish now going to go over to you. A similar, actually the exact same question. You guys have played most of the teams now. Most of the teams have played every one. Which team besides yourself do you guys consider is the most formidable?
As of right, El Meow. We're gonna go with Refuse as well.
Yeah.
They're just they're very strong, as you can see from our previous match with them. They came out 5-0, and they deserved it, and we didn't.
All right, good response from the Spanish cat. David.
All right, Spanish. If you could replay one match, which one would it be?
That would be match number 1 against RU. We had a couple of misplays or miss shots when we we really thought we could have won that one. A couple of rounds came down to the wire there with a 100% cap getting reset on the side of RU, and us not making the resets against RU. So that's one I want back.
All right. Well, maybe we don't have the technology now to give you that wish, but maybe one day we will. Meadowhawk, you have anything to say in Spanish before the match starts?
Best of luck, Meow.
All right, and Spanish, your response.
I just want to point out the fact that I don't know if you guys know NUC, our old team from Bronze. I'm turning into the logo. I'm slowly
step at a
making my
time.
metamorphosis. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out to you guys, and
Great.
good luck, have fun.
Now we look forward to seeing that Spanish. Meadowhawk Spanish, gentlemen, best of luck into the battle. We'll see you guys shortly. Meow. Jeez. I didn't point out communication because it was something I actually thought that 07 needed to work on. It was just that sort of, I can't quite pin it down.
All right. Well,
Let's go to
probably
rosters.
talk about the match, Meow.
Oh, I swear. David,
All right, 07. As we discussed last time, Vetro, Commodore, Synergy 3K, kind of their some of the core, the nucleus of their team, if you would look at it that way. Rival, Fnatic was one of their more important players, but the thing that we pointed out last time for Rival was that their overall penetration rates just weren't there.
Right.
They had the shots, but the penetrations themselves just didn't seem to flow. So if they could turn that up,
Sure.
they can turn down whatever team they're playing.
Ooh, turn down for what, David? Turn down for what?
Turn down for what?
Now,
World of Tanks, that's what.
all right. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, how do you practice something like that? I mean, how do you practice like penetrating your shots? Is it just like knowing exactly where to hit each tank and the type of tank and where they are weak?
Yeah, pretty much. I
Okay,
mean,
just
you
more
learn,
knowledge. and-
So there's a lot of like little complex things places where you can shoot that are good for different reasons, or you learn all the modules. But for the basics,
Yeah.
is you shoot the flattest part you can.
Right.
Because it's just basic physics.
All
So
right. No
for the most
angling.
part, it's like underneath the wheel well for IS-3s. Whatever. I'm not gonna go in the whole list.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Not
let's
here
get
anyways.
let's get into the fourth and final matchup of the night, ladies and gentlemen. 07 versus Rival, starting out on Himmelsdorf. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
07 with two 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and AMX-12T. Team Rival with two 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. Hope to see a head-to-head between those light tanks. Not really. I just hope to see some good strategic play, but that would be entertaining as well.
David, I honestly really like the turn down for Watt. I'm still thinking about that. But going into this Team Rival fight against 07, Valkyrie and Hull and those IS-3s pushing out. Looks like they're going to be the ones to defend this northern cap, but a lot of members from Team Rival going to the east, or sorry, the west, right down the 2 line. Only HK, Valkyrie, and Hull defending the north. Now, do you think that this is a set of predicting that 07 will go for the western cap, or is this just kind of their standard way of defending? And they have
It looks like a clearing maneuver to take up western control and box in 07 into the eastern corner of the map, eastern half of the map,
okay.
and then progressively push it down. So similar to what we've seen before, they're just not using the light tank to do the western clearing for one reason or another. Rival's not a team that likes to do things for no good reason.
Sure.
So they probably have a reason. Whether it holds up against a lot of scrutiny is an entirely different thing. But either way, they've got what they're looking for, and similar to what we saw with Simp playing earlier, not a whole lot of map control for 07. Kind of getting bottled up in this general area. The only difference between them and Simp is they have one of their 5100s down here in the south, or underneath the hill itself. But it does look like they'll also just shove the 8 line, and we'll see if 07 can punish them for doing it, or Rival can punish them for doing it.
Now, looking at Hall's, kind of talked about this earlier on the matches, that A5 IS-3, it's a good place so you can get some good damage on, but if you get stuck there, you're kind of down your luck. If you're 07, when you see a tank there, how quickly can you, or what do you need to do to respond to that, to basically come in at different angles? What's a good angle to come at that A5 if you're on offense?
The 5 line, so essentially vertically.
Okay.
It's the best angle you're going to get on him.
Because he has to come out.
Yeah, you want to trick him.
Oh!
Off the bat.
Wow. HK going down by rocks. I'm not sure if he actually got up into that good shielding position or not. We have to take a closer look at that. David, what is your rating there?
I don't know.
Yeah. Looks like he was kind of caught out there. He saw 07 there, tried to rush back as quick as he could, but 07 doing a good job and focus fired him down. With that tank there, do you think Valkyrie is better off just kind of, abandoning that spot, or is he just going to make the best out of what he's got?
No, it's still useful.
Okay.
The question is it more useful? And in one way, yes. I mean, he can
really?
actually shoot onto the interior corner of C7. So it's not, I mean, that does provide an additional angle they wouldn't have gotten anyways.
Okay.
The big question I have with it is, do you actually want to exchange shots there? Because it's just adding up. Meanwhile, when Valkyrie needs to do this shot, he's not covered anymore. So overall, if that's on purpose, I don't necessarily like it, but that may pan out differently the more I see it used. Certainly an attempted innovation either way, I think.
Oh, okay. Let's see if that does work out for Rival there, as Valkyrie doing a nice little chunk of damage there. ZXFT and that AMX-12T. So many letters as Valkyrie getting focus fired by 3 members of 07. He dropped down to about half health in his IS-3. Cap pressure now continuing to build up for ZXFT. A shot going after Valkyrie, but Rocks double tapping with Fosta, taking Valkyrie down. Another tank falling from the side of Rival, now just remaining 5. And 07 has all 7. Now, that was not something that is good if you're Valkyrie, as the cap now continuing to build up. It's up to World War II Fnatic and the Django and Anubis now to come around behind him. Because if Urtai pushes in, he's going to get lit up there by Synergy and Makos all the way through. He's going to try to find a nice little corner there on the B5 line. Here we go, World War II Fnatic, the Django pushing over on D as Anubis. Go ahead, finding a nice little shot through the window there, but nothing connecting onto Rocks as he's taking some damage himself. A shot going through the AMX 100. Another shot to World War II Fnatic, 549 points there. And over in the north, Urtai being focused down, trying to find the resets. He does. He finds a shot onto Fosta, 403, getting him extremely low. He is one more shot away. Let's see if he can pick it up while he's going. He takes a shot into Rocks, but it misses. And now the push for World War II Fnatic coming through. Hall finds Fosta finally, who will go down. Now a tank falling for 07, but Vetro responding by taking Anubis down. And it looks like every time Team Rival has something to do, 07 has just a little bit of a better response. Vetro finding World War II Fnatic. Again, 3 tanks remain for the side of Rival, and Urtai is extremely low. 1 more shot, or at least 2, will go down. The cap pressure continuing to build up there. The Django backing off in his 5100. His shots are all done. He is dry. He's on the reload, trying to back around the corner. Takes another shot before he finds safety. The question is, how much longer can he live? As 4 members push onto the 2, now 1 as Urtai goes down. 07 finding a kill. Makos back-to-back kills, taking down Hall, and Synergy finding the Django to pick up the first victory of our 4th and final match of the night. Now, David, looking at that, that kind of setup there, you said that 07 was kind of getting bunched into a similar corner as Simp was against Maple Freedom. How did they do it? Where did they do the good job of kind of making sure that didn't happen?
They just pushed up the 8 line just like Simp did. Didn't get punished for it just like Simp did.
Oh.
Then got on the corner, picked off a number of tanks that were, well, basically in the same spot Simp did. And
Deja vu.
Rip. I mean, 07 just outplayed Rival in that situation in a number of ways.
Sure.
Let's go to stats.
Just like Simp did.
Simp didn't go to stats. I go to stats. All right. Warbander. Nice addition to the team lately. 6 shots, 5 hits, 5 penetrations.
Whoa.
Fosta, the only one going down on the team, 6, 6, and 5. Vetro, 6 hits and 6. Proper job. Rocks, 6, 4, and 4. Makos, 5, 5, and 5. Hey,
wow.
he could have wasted 1 more shot and still been doing good.
Yeah.
That is accuracy and precision, and they're different things. Meanwhile, for Rival, still struggling to hit and penetrate, looks like. Plus, just in general, strategically, not in the right spots.
Okay.
Not executing. Getting outplayed.
All right. Well,
I can say like 9 different ways, but that's what it comes down to.
That's what happened.
Getting outplayed.
Just basically in that match. So now coming to the next matchup, looking at, I think HK's position was the guy who went down in the Northern Cap. Are you okay to say yes, or you still don't like it? Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay.
So what we ended up seeing there was Valkyrie dying
because of
from that corner.
Right.
That spot
should have blocked.
Maybe was intended to help him fire on.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did that on purpose, and that was the whole point. But the angle was so perfectly lined up.
So you think it might have been?
I think it might have been.
Okay.
I think it might have been, but I don't know for certain.
Well, let's see if they learn from that match and either not do that again or do it just to a better effect, ladies and gentlemen, as we're into our next battle. 07 versus Rival, same sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
07 with 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, name X12T. Team Rival with 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and a T37. 07 still on offense, Rival still on defense. Wouldn't be surprised to see 07 do the same opener. They've done it for a while now, I believe.
Okay.
At least 1 5100 on a hill with a scout. IS3s into 8 line. They can just bully their way out if they have to. And the opener is the same. ZXFT and Makos going up top. Commodore, Synergy 3K, Fosta, Vetro, and Warbander lining up in the 8 line. Team Rival looks like they are also going into the same positions. Could be a drastically different match if they can punish 07 when they move up the 8 line. The number of times, not just today, But overall, we see teams set up to hit the 8 line, then we see a team just drive up it,
And
they
just
get
not
shot like maybe once.
Right,
And
right.
I cry every time on the inside.
And this is kind of going back to what we saw at the beginning of the season, right? That was the main thing. We saw those teams pushing the 7-8 line, and that was kind of what decided how much can you punish them before they get really set up in the Northern Cap. Then we had a sort of switch of Himmelsdorf play. We didn't see it for a while. And now that Himmelsdorf play is almost now dying out, they're going back to the beginning, and some teams just aren't catching up quick enough. There's HK now in that similar position as he was doing with Valkyrie. It looks like he's a little more pushed up against the wall there this time. Not quite as far up, but still does have a little bit of a gap there. I'm not sure if that angle kind of lined up from there, but here we go. Another push looks like from 07. Going to do the same thing. Question is, will they get punished for it?
Probably not. I mean, right now, Rival doesn't have the positions to see the tanks. So I don't understand what the formation is for. I guess, okay. This is the best case. Best case for Rival is that they want 07 to do what they're doing
Come behind
and funnel them into this spot, and then they have a prepared response to beat them when they get here.
Right.
Didn't work last time.
Right.
And it has its own vulnerabilities just based off timing, so it's certainly not something you'd want to repeatedly do. Let's check out the HK spot.
Oh, there it is. Let's see if he's in the right position to be shielded there as Fossa. Getting him down to below half health. One more shot, he'll go down. Commodore lining it up. There he goes. And now, David, what is your analysis?
Turn on the laser beams. Let's see.
Lasers.
So we can shoot underneath the turret, I think.
Wow.
I don't know. It's better. Put it that way. It's certainly better.
Okay.
And it's certainly more biased to being able to keep Valkyrie alive than it was last time.
Okay, good.
Jury's out on being against the wall. Either way, this is better than it was last match, so I can say that confidently.
Great. Well, let's see how much better it is, and if Rival can take a lead. HK now going down, but obviously that was part of the plan, so not a huge loss for Rival if their strategy will hold tight against what 07 has prepared for them today. AMX 12D ZXFD in the AMX 12D. Almost switch those around. Pushing up. I think he was going to go in cap pressure, but he's deciding to back off here. The Django in the 5100 just on the other side of the buildings. Not getting in position to watching the courtyard of Anubis. Now all the way down in the G3 area, trying to push back up. Now, David, if you were Anubis, and you were just sitting back there all the way down in your 5100, do you think you would push across? Do you think it'd be any sort of benefit to try to flank 07, or is that just too dangerous?
Right now, way too dangerous. Later, perfectly fine.
Right. Well, here we go. 07 now actually leaving the northern cap area. Decided to abandon it altogether. 3 IS-3s pushing across the courtyard. Basta and ZXFD now maintaining on the D line there. And let's see what the plan for 07 is coming out of the cross. Looks like it's a fine Django. 325 points of damage going there. Warbander coming across. Synergy as well. Not finding him. Synergy waiting. Let's see if the Django pops out to get a little bit more damage. Urtai trying to find a response. Getting a shot into Commodore. This shot for Commodore not connecting onto Urtai. And now the battle looks like has begun for the courtyard. Interestingly enough, World War II Fnatic getting positioned up into the houses there, try to find some shots through the window. He's almost reloaded. Looks like he might be able to find Synergy. He does. 388 points of damage. A good chunk going in there. Urtai now backing out. Warbander pushing over the side. Anubis doing a good job punishing him in the 5100. They need to be careful because they're taking a lot of damage there. A reflection off of World War II. ZXFC coming around the corner, but I'm not sure how many shots he's got left in that thing as Anubis taking 460 points of damage. The Django still in his 5100 on the same location. Anubis finding Warbander. The first tank of 07 dropping. World War II Fnatic finding Synergy. Valkyrie finding Makos. The side of 07 dropping like flies here. World War II Fnatic doing a great job in that window position. Urtai finding Commodore, who looks like he is just caught out. The O match should be going there. The Django finding Metro. Valkyrie coming off the northern cap. Hall picking up Pasta. Urtai finding Commodore. 1 by 1. 07 falls, and now it is just ZXFT who is on the reload. One more shot. He should go down. Looks like it's going to be Urtai to pick it up. A decisive victory for Rival there, coming out onto our second battle. Our fourth match of the night, tying it up now 1-1. Now, why did 07 do what they did? Why did they abandon Northern Cap and push the courtyard, do you think?
Let's go to stats first.
Okay. Let's do it.
Stats first. So, Valkyrie view us. that position working out for him a little bit better. Part of why I wanted to go there. Roughly 1,800.
Wow.
Anubis, also roughly 1,800. Rest of the team just very spread and high penetration rates across
They
the
did it.
board. They did it. 07 flailing a little bit, trying to find the proper entrance to what they wanted. So that gets me back to what you were asking, which is, why did 07 leave? They didn't really have a play going for them. They didn't have an A-line presence. They didn't have a lot of things that you need in order to get that done. So I think they were just looking to see if they could shift and create a different engagement someplace else, one that was more favorable to them. It's not a bad idea. The exact way they did it wasn't the best.
Gotcha.
And I think they passed up some really solid overmatches. But other than that, Rival just playing pretty well, capitalizing on 07's mistakes.
Now, when that happens, when you're a team who pushes into a position and then finds out that you really don't have a play and decide to reposition, is that in favor of the opponent, or can it just be really either case? Because if the opponent isn't set up for what you're about to do anyway, it's still going to go in their favor.
It's a situational thing.
Right.
Sometimes it's better for the opponent. Sometimes it's better for you.
Gotcha. Now, kind of on a follow-up question of that, if you're 07 and they did push into the courtyard, what is the better way to do it? Like you're saying, they could have done it better.
Oh, they shouldn't be pushing through the courtyard
Okay.
unless they have courtyard control.
Got it.
The big problem was when they got into the 3-line area, they got locked down. It would have been better just to pull all the way back down the 8-line, pivot around.
Oh, okay.
Ultimately, like once you commit yourself like that,
Just got to go.
you're not, no matter where you go, it's not going to be a particularly better situation. So then you're going to have to commit yourself very hard in another direction.
Gotcha.
So once they did that, pretty much all options were bad.
All right, well, let's see. I mean, good job for Rival picking up and really executing that perfectly. Let's go now into our next battle, ladies and gentlemen. It's all tied up 1-1. Let's see what we've got for the Tanks on both the sides. So we are switching defense and offense.
07 on defense now with two 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. Rival on offense with two 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a 2801.
All right, here now on the on the switching of the defensive and offensive sides, looking at the lineups, do you think 07 is going to go for a very northern defensive cap, or is their lineup favorable more of the western side?
Lineup doesn't necessarily indicate much, so
We'll see.
it's more about their opening positions, and it looks like they're more focused on going west.
Okay. DXFT doing a good job pushing up there, trying to find some sort of early spotting for Rival. HK and the VK2801 coming around, see if he gets spotted. No one has been lit up yet. Urtai, Hall, World Fanatic, and Valkyrie and these IS3s just sitting back and waiting. David, are they waiting here just to make sure that they don't get shot from this alley that they're about to pass?
Yeah, shot or spotted essentially. It's just sort of a safe holding position.
Okay.
While they let HK do some scouting to determine where they're going to go.
Gotcha. And now we have a big bunch of 07 kind of bunched up on the corner there. Vetro and Makos over in the northern cap. If 07, or I'm sorry, if Rival were to push up the 7-8 line, is 07 set up and ready for that? Actually, it looks like they're actually repositioning themselves right now.
Yeah, they weren't, but they're getting there. And looks like Team Rival is just biding a little bit of time. Actually, we haven't seen this exact strategy yet. Valkyrie view us in World War II Fanatic taking up positions, so it looks like it's going to be perhaps a 3-line split.
Okay.
Trying to do some sort of courtyard control to push back 07 into the northwest corner, and then either cap north or south or north or west. But it's hard to read at this point in time.
See how
just
it
due to
develops.
the actual spread of 07 more than anything.
Okay. Well, that was a nice shot, Valkyrie, and that ice finding Pasta back there over in that C3 position. Looks like it was a window shot through a window shot. A nice little pickup. HK taking a little bit of damage, actually taking a little shot. CXFT, but no damage yet. Mako's repositioning in his 1500. They actually are worried about this western cap. And here we go. Rival sending 4 members up the 8 line. David, are 07 now out of position?
Slightly. IS-3s, well, really, all of Rival that are pushing into the northeast here could theoretically have better position on 07, but like I said, it's going to be really hard to tell who has who until we see these final positions that Rival's going to, because I can see ways of beating both teams from both positions right now, and I'm not going to predict anything until I see them actually trying to respond to each other.
All right. Fair enough. Urtai, Anubis, and Hall followed by the Dingo for Rival pushing into the north cap here. It looks like they might be able to find Vetro and Synergy if they come around the corner. World War II Fnatic has been spotted out still down in the F2 position. Vetro's turret and Synergy both have their turrets turned like to the northern cap. So if they were to pop out, they would be able to have significant chance of fighting back. 3 minutes and 50 seconds now onto our third battle of our fourth match of the night. And it looks like World War II Fnatic can be the first one to take some sort of damage there. I think that shot came from Warband. Nice little chunk going on there. Valkyrie moving back across the courtyard. 07 not having any really sort of courtyard control, allowing Rival to just kind of do as they please there in that section of the map. And now the pressure has been applied by Hall. HK now coming around to the 2801. Now with this pressure being applied here, if 07 were to push where Synergy is and decide to funnel all their tanks here through the alleyway, is that the best way that they can approach this reset, or is going around them?
It's looking real bad for 07 right now. That's all I'm going to say. Rivals' positions and adaptations, once they got all the intelligence they needed and got these positions set up, was very good.
Great.
The biggest opening they have is the 5 line itself, but there's so many tanks there in such good positions. I don't necessarily see a great way for 07 to dig their way out of this unless Rival just throws it completely.
Well, we have seen that before. Let's see if Rival can hold this. 07 Synergy popping out, taking 609 points of damage, getting tracked. A quick repair. We'll have him hiding safe behind that corner. And here comes the rest of the team popping out again, getting tracked one more time. One more shot. Synergy will go down. Let's see if Rival can punish 07 for pushing across. HK taking some damage in his VK 2801. One more shot from Vetro. He'll go down. Now Hall having to back off the cap. Vetro does go ahead and find that pickup of the kill. And now it is 7-on-6 in favor now of, but Rival gonna go ahead and respond. Let's see how much damage can come off the side of 07 here. The fight, Makos in this 5100 getting absolutely slaughtered there. Hall finding Bosswood, Rocks, and Warbanner back-to-back kills against the Django and Anubis. Rocks, Makos, Warbanner coming out. Valkyrie finding Makos. Now 4-on-4. The HP though in favor of Rival, but 07 doing a great job trying to claw their way back. Valkyrie getting extremely low. Let's see if Warbanner and Rocks together can take down this IS-3 before they go down themselves. Hall, yeah, Warbanner does pick it up. Valkyrie, and now he should go down by Urtai here. And IS-3 taking down an IS-3. There it is, 3v2 now in favor of Rival. Vetro in the 5100 buying some time for the reload. Now he is fully reloaded. He has 6 shots ready and waiting. ZXFD on that long run down in the G7 now position over on the courtyard, allowing Rival to put 3 members on cap, starting the pressure on 1 minute and 24 seconds. Let's see if Vetro can get the resets in time. But it's not looking super good. Now down to 20 seconds. ZXFD coming through his T-37, rushing as fast as he can to find the resets. If they can shoot and run, they might be able to stall this game out long enough for the cap timer to go, but Vetro needs to go now. He has found some collisions going on the way through. ZXD lining the shot. He gets shot by World War II Fnatic. He actually misses his shot, but Vetro does not. He now needs to back up and find some safety, finding another shot onto World War II Fnatic, but Urtai is the one with all the points. Hall getting shot again. Now resetting the count down to 17 seconds. Hall is going down. ZXFT finding another shot. They just, though, Rival needs to stay safe, and they should have this. The cap going down to 10 seconds, 40 seconds on the entire battle. And with only a 241 health T-37, nothing that he can do. ZXFT going to try his best to get a reset. He actually does get the shot, but he will go down. Hall picking that one up, and Rival going to get another victory, making it 1-2. Looks like we might be going back and forth. The ping pong battle has continued, but David, looking at that battle, what you just saw, the positionings for Rival were superior to 07, and they did not throw it, which is good.
Pretty much. I mean, it got a little bit closer than it should have. Let's go to stats real quick, because this is nuts.
Okay. Oh,
Vetro is a beast.
Wow.
11 shots, 11 hits, 10 penetrations, 96 reset points, somehow blocking 300 with just what? What? Warbander following in closely behind. The rest of 07 not getting in there, as we saw. They mostly just paraded right across the front of Rival and got lit up for it.
Right.
So what does Rival look like? Hall with 8 for 8 for 8. Also BC.
Wow.
That's nuts. Valkyrie Viewus 555. Anubis 665. The Django 665. Airtie. Okay, so he missed one less than everybody else. Or one more than everybody else. All around, accuracy increased for Rival. A lot better of a game overall. Just solid play, and while it took quite a while to set up the trap they were looking for, it was a good trap. great play by Rival, honestly.
Okay, now going into a battle, just in your experience as a pro player, how many traps on each side do you generally have set up? Are you going like, hey, we're running this trap. Let's say we're running number 2, but be prepared to do 3 and 4. Are there certain traps that can go along if your one you're looking for doesn't quite work out?
In a sense, World of Tanks is almost, it's like at least half traps.
Oh, okay.
Traps and counter traps, basically. So nobody ever really talks about it like that. It's more just positions that you can catch people in.
Gotcha.
So by the nature of them, they are traps. But it's not like we ever sat down and just drew up as many traps as we could on a map.
Right.
Well, not that that's a terrible idea. Now that you mention it, I mean, just looking at all the different places where you could be on a map and drawing up traps for them, so your people have like a playbook to go from.
Huh. Well, maybe
I don't
that's
know.
something these teams can implement. But ladies and gentlemen, we're into our next battle. 07 versus Rival, the same sides. Rival, 1 victory, and they'll be 3-1. 3-1 up. 07, 1 victory, they'll tie it up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
07 with 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and a T37. Team Rival with 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and a 2801.
Now, kind of going back to the whole trap, the whole trap setup, does it really affect the team? Is it generally who can set their trap up first wins? And also, I can see how a trap is more prevalent for offense than it is for defense. Am I correct?
I mean, it's just as relevant on both sides,
Okay.
right? It's basically the same thing we were talking about with isolations and overmatching. It's just different words for the same concept, right?
Sure.
I guess a trap is a little bit more by nature designed to bring somebody into an area and then fire at them. In this case, or in the last case, I should say, it was kind of a trap, but it was more just a bad situation for 07. They had to drive across the front of Rival to get any of those resets, and Rival got in a boatload of damage when they did it. A couple different mistakes on their part, but I can't be too nitpicky. It worked out, right?
Absolutely. HK doing a good job there. Spotting Rock in his IS3 and getting some damage. Rock still lit up. World of 2 Fnatic side of Rival now being lit up himself. Now looking at these kind of opening positions, we have Valkyrie and Fnatic and those IS3s pushing up the 4 line. Rest of the team besides HK gonna go, looks like they might be doing a 7-8 line push as well. 07. Nice little spread defense here, putting a lot more focus on the northern cap this time. Let's see if Valkyrie can get that amazing shot against his synergy here. Through that shot, he does. Oh, just missing the window. So close there. A nice little cheeky move that you can do in those IS3s. The question is, do you think he spotted him, or is he just taking those shots blindly? I didn't see.
I didn't see him spot the other one, but it's not an uncommon place to be, and it's also not an uncommon place to blind fire.
Okay.
At the same time, if Valkyrie was lit, then he knows to a certain extent that
that's where he's at.
there probably is somebody there. It's easier to spot one direction than the other on that one.
Gotcha.
But with ZXFT there, who he never saw, that could have been what spotted him in that instance. But ZXFT getting tagged by Fnatic on the way out, and that shot actually connecting with synergy but not penetrating.
Ooh, nice shots from Valkyrie there. Now, something we talked about last week about being an artillery and how really awesome it is to be able to look at the map and see just trees fall or benches be broken or telephone poles go down, and how you can use that for your advantage. How is that in terms of shot? So if you're Valkyrie and you're shooting in synergy and no one spotted, can synergy very clearly hear that shot, hear the explosion, and go, oh, he's right over this wall, so obviously they're in the courtyard, or is it a lot harder to do with individual tank shell?
Well, if you look at Synergy's position a little bit more closely, he's actually kind of backing up and through it right now. There's just a very small angle in which he could be shot from, so he knows if a shot comes in and he hears it bounce, and he'll know because he's in the tank, right?
Right.
It'll bounce off him, and he'll know where the shot had to have come from just by geometry alone.
Okay. So it's gonna know all these just other things, all these layers on this game that really make maybe separate a good player from a great player. Urtai in his IS3 taking a little bit of damage there. That was Warbander as he popped over the corner, and now the push for Valkyrie. Moving across the courtyard, now getting on the other side of that, the northern end. HK pushing the line. Hall finding ZXFT. They are both now spotted. Pasta. 2 IS3 battles against each other against Hall. HK finding ZXFT. Now a pickup for Rival going into 07. Let's see if this is the trigger that Rival needed to now push in. Looks like as Urtai and Anubis come around the corner, Warbander trying to find some sort of cover, getting behind that corner there. And damage now in response of 07 going onto World War II Fnatic down in this F2 location. Makos in his 1500 still sitting back, full health, full clips, ready to go. Vetro had unloaded all of his clips, or he decided to reload early. I'm not sure either one. Now, David, let's actually kind of talk about that. That's something that we might be able to talk about for a moment. In a 5100, when you take some shots, is it really kind of based off of information when you decide to reload early instead of waiting, or is it sometimes a risk? Or
yes, and in Vetro's situation right now, it was exactly the right move. As long as people aren't actively pushing on you, and you think that the best angle they can take is probably 20, 30 seconds away, then you do it. If you take 1 or 2 shots, then it's best to reload, because nothing will ruin a game more than a 5100 trying to get a fight with only 3 or 4.
Absolutely, but here comes the push. Looks like Rival looking for this one. Valkyrie coming up the corner, finding Synergy and Anubis, and the Django trying to back him up. The question is, will 07 be able to punish them for doing this? Synergy actually getting out with relative ease, and now Anubis is going to be the one who's in a lot of trouble. Valkyrie trying to do his best to fight him up, he's taking some damage as well, and more HP for Rival is disappearing. Makos finds Valkyrie. Fosta finds HK, but Urtai trying to respond by finding Vetro. It is now a 5-on-5. 07 versus Rival, but the HP is heavily in 07's favor. About over 3,000 HP point lead there. Synergy now coming around from the corner to try to chase down Anubis. One more shot, he'll go down. There it is, Synergy finding that pickup. Hall though going to respond by taking Synergy down. Man, this is back and forth battle going on here. Urtai getting dropped in that IS-3. Cap pressure being applied by World of Fnatic. JK, he's decided to get off of it. Hall now trying to run around the corner. Rock's just going to chase him. Looks like with these 2 IS-3s reloading. He's about 3 seconds there remaining for Hall. He's going to be able to get the shot off first, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to take down Rocks. They're dancing back and forth. Warbander doing a good job picking that one on Fosta, finding Urtai, and now just 2 tanks remain for the side of Rival. The Django in that 5100 almost done, reloaded. The question is, will he be able to take down Fosta before Fosta takes down him? It's going to come down to this shot. Fosta shutting down the Django, and now World War II Fnatic is the last one. That's going to be it. 07 going to tie this one up to Rival 2-2. Ending our first map of Himmelsdorf. David, that was a fight where it looked like they were just waiting for that tank, 07, waiting for that tank to die, then just decided to push in. No, Rival. I think it was Rival to wait for that tank to die, decided to push in onto 07, but 07 is doing a superior job, kind of the tank-on-tank brawls, finding those overmatches. The choice to push Synergy around the corner in that IS-3 really backfired for him.
That's one of the worst places to push in the game.
Okay.
Let alone...
I see why.
Or I should say on the map.
Okay.
Let alone with the way 07 was spread at the time. 07 did a good job of tricking Rival into going in there,
huh.
I think.
Okay.
A lot of the other angles for 07 looked like they weren't that great, but a frontal assault at that point in the north was probably the best option that Rival had.
Okay.
Going up the 3 line into 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and easily shifting another IS-3.
Gotcha. They just got themselves into a position where it wasn't quite in their favor anyway. And they just try to make the best of it.
Yep. I would go over stats, but really it comes down to Makos, Fosta, both going over 2K, Vetro with 1700. Not a whole lot else to really discuss aside from what you guys saw.
Yeah.
Rival falling into a very solid trap and getting ruined by 07 on that match.
Absolutely. Now going into our next map, we're going to have, it's going to be on Steps. Again, a very highly defensive team. This is going to be interesting to see if we have maybe one of these teams are the ones to successfully break the defense here. Who on this map would you give it to? Who do you think has the slight advantage here?
That's a crazy good question. I don't know the last time I saw either of these teams play Steps.
Huh.
And neither of them would be a team that I would immediately think would have Steps really under control.
Huh.
So it's confusing to me that we're seeing Steps so much today.
Okay.
And we're also seeing, we're seeing a lot of the same maps, right? Like Himmelsdorf, Steps.
Yeah.
And
we only saw Mines once.
Saw Mines a little bit.
Lakeville.
Whatever.
But yeah, Steps and Himmelsdorf have been the prevalent maps today. Ladies and gentlemen, our 4th and final matchup is ready. We have 07 versus Rival on Steps, all tied up 2-2. Let's get right into it and see which team has a slight advantage here. David, what do we got for tank?
07 with an IS-3, a T-32, 4 T-54 lightweights, and an AMX-12T. Team Rival with a T-32, RU-251, 3 T-54 lightweights, and 2 WZ-131s.
Going in here, I think we don't have a single artillery. David, what you've seen so far on steps, people bringing on our artillery, do you think it's how much does that favor defense or offense?
Artillery is significantly better on offense than it is on defense on this map.
Okay.
Basically, if you bring in artillery on defense, you're opening yourself up to a huge rush.
Okay.
That could be a problem.
All right. Looks like we're going to try a little bit of boosting here, but Team Rival doing their best to try to organize who's going to go first. Looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication there between Urtai and the Django. A little bit of gentleman moves. Django backing off completely. Anubis saying, nope, nope, go, get in there. There it is. Now they've got it. Let's see how far Valkyrie can go up. And the question is, if that little bit of, do you think that little bit of time that it took for them to boost right there will allow 07 to get some sort of, significant upper hand, or was that really?
I would say it could have, but it
Is-
certainly didn't.
Gotcha.
Rock's getting boosted by Makos. A little bit of a unicorn coming out of Makos. GG, boys. Get that IS-3 into wherever you're going faster, I guess. Again, a lineup that I think is probably a little bit better in the east over here. I don't know. We'll see what they do with it. But right now, I think Rival's in a superior position overall.
Sure.
They're on defense. They have an interesting lineup. One thing that would have been intriguing is if 07 did bring artillery, those two WZ-131s could have severely made 07 pay for that decision. But
Really?
they didn't. So
That's
we'll
good.
see how it all ends up panning out. All I can say is what I hope not to see right now, which is a northern cap that takes like 7 minutes to get shut down.
Sure. I'm not sure anyone would actually really want to see that. Now, World War II Fnatic dipping down in that T-32, taking some just blind fire here as no one spotted. The only person who spotted actually is World War II Fnatic now. And Dave, we were kind of talking about being spotted, and you can use some sort of deductive reasoning on maybe where the enemy is or where you're being spotted from. But with this open of a map, does that significantly get limited?
Go ahead and ask the question one more time.
So we were talking about how, if you're a tank and you're spotted, you could usually go on some maps or certain positions, go, oh, well, because I'm spotted, these, the enemy tank must be here or here or here. On a map that's open like steps, is that not the case, or can you still find those?
It is
applications?
certainly less of the case,
Okay.
but it depends on what terrain you're using and a number of other things, view range, and then all in all likelihood, you can pretty much assume that people don't go to certain positions just because if something went wrong, they would die instantly.
Gotcha.
So looks like we have a little bit of a stalemate here. Although Rival getting a little bit of movement under the south side, which could be very important for them. Rocks just over the top of the rail line. And I'm feeling like we're going to see some cap pressure come out of Fosta on this 12T.
Okay.
I'm also really hoping that's not the case. There is a possibility that they will pull it off, as there always is. I mean, I've trash talked the fast cap how many times, and how many times have we seen it work?
Yeah, somehow it continues to work.
But I'll put it this way: how many times out of all those times should it have worked? I count them.
And that's the beauty of it.
On maybe once or twice, maybe.
All right, now, dude, draw your attention back to this eastern cap. Hall and Urtai just actually decided to take down all these trees in this area. They decided to actually very strategically knock down each individual tree. Was that for any specific purpose that you could see?
Get some pretty good camo in there.
Okay.
Knocking down those trees kind of directs the angles you want to go. One of these in particular looks useful. The rest, I don't know, maybe they just felt like running them over. Sometimes a team that is playing defensively does legitimately get a little bit border impatient.
Really?
So yeah, running over trees, stuff like that. While it's not something you should do because it gives away positions, it's things that some players might do in certain situations if they know it's not going to do anything. 07 actually making a strong play here in the north.
There it is, the fast cap going on now down to 10 seconds. The question is, can Rival respond enough? Anubis coming up the corner, trying to do his best, getting lit up and absolutely dominated. 958. Now Vetro gonna finish that one off, but they did have to sacrifice the cap for it. They've decided to go off. He got the spots that they needed, and now HK and the Django coming over the corner. Let's see how much damage that they can do. Rival now on the run. They've decided to kind of stop that pressure. Synergy taking a lot of damage in this T-54. HK also in that WZ-131. as he's trying to retreat to the rest of his teammate over here on the northeastern side. GXFT going up against and Rox going with World 2 Fnatic. Rox fighting HK as he pops over the top, and now it is the four members of Rival starting to push up against the remaining members of 07, but there are still 7 on the side of the attackers, just 5 for the side of Rival. Let's see if 07 can continue this victory, or if Rival can claw the way back. Warbander is going to be the focus. He looks like he's the first one to drop. World 2 Fnatic going to pick that one up, and now the Django finding Fossa, but Mako's trying to respond by taking Valkyrie down. 4 now on 5. Rival doing a good job starting to claw the way back, starting to decrease that HP deficit, but Rox saying, nope, I'm going to keep increasing it, finding another tank for Rival. The Django trying to respond, finding Mako's down. It is now a 4v3 haul. He's going to be the focus. One more shot. Vetro should be able to pick this one up. Let's see if he can get it on the move. He does. A nice pickup there. World 2 Fnatic now is on a 4v1 situation, something you do not want to do. He's now just going to try to take down Synergy. Unfortunately, he will not. Rox picking up that kill. A minute, though, remain. They got to run to cap right now. They got to put the 3 members on and make sure the Django can't reset, because just 60 seconds remain in this battle. If the Django can technically survive and let the clock run down, he will win because he is on defense. But 07, with their 3 tanks, will have enough. They drop the cap pressure down to 28 seconds. Vetro just has to be on guard duty.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is
Perfect.
exactly.
Vetro can see him coming in. The rest are capping. Pretty much nothing the Django can do here unless he gets absurdly lucky. But we'll talk about it after the match. There still is a small chance. Nope, no longer. No longer. He's too far out.
You got to give it to him. Come on,
Django.
You can run in, get a shot while you can. But with 8 seconds, David, you are definitely right. As always, now down to 5. 20 seconds in the match. The Django rushing in through. Vetro does see him, takes a shot. Now down to 2 seconds. The Django can't even let. He does let the shot go, but he misses. Cap getting down to 0 seconds. Now Synergy, ZXFT, Rival. Not quite having what it takes. 07 picking up that victory, now making it 3-2. And David, as you were saying,
I basically drew that on the map earlier.
Oh.
If you can call what I do drawing.
It is.
Or is it,
it's art.
scribbling? I'm not entirely sure. All I got to say, I'm not.
That would sell for
I'm not going to defend it. There's no point. It's terrible. Anyways, so moving the IS-3 and the T-32 there. Getting that shot down the side. Now, it's a little bit of a weird version of what I was talking about, and it wasn't quite executed the way I would do it, but the principles are the same. Draw your opponent in, put on the extra fast cap pressure so they have no choice but to rise up on that berm and get double tap by the IS-3 and the T-32, whatever else you put there. Again, not exactly how I would do it. And with Rival's 2 131s coming from the side, it's a little bit more difficult than I'm making it sound. But overall, they had the proper approach, and they got it done. There was a second there where perhaps, well, let's go to stats while we have the time real quick, and I'll keep talking about this. Batroxity 2118, leading off his team. We're running a little bit low on time for the battle may start here. So World War II Fnatic leading off his team for 2200 as well, and getting 67 defense points. Both of those very big numbers for people's fantasy scores.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what I was saying is, getting those shots into the side, drawing those people up and over, and putting them in a position. So, T-32 and the 54 were 2 of the last 3 tanks that were left. It was a T-54, a T-32, and a WZ-131. All of the shots, all the most recent shots, have been fired into the T-32, and then I saw a target kind of switch to a T-54, and for a second, I was getting a knee-jerk reaction about focus fire, and then I quickly realized they're low on time. They got to get the T-54 before he runs away. All around smart.
Well, fantastic.
Good job, 07.
A fantastic job for 07. Now the victory 3-2 against Rival. Let's get right into the next battle. It is ready on steps. Let's see what we've got for our tank lineups.
07 with a T-32, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a 12T. Team Rival with a T-32 and RU-251, 3 T-54 lightweights, and 2 WZ-131s.
Now, another thing you should just kind of talk about, every time I see a team get a victory on offense on the steps, I mean, I think it takes some serious gusto, because we talked about how heavily in favor steps is for defense. David, what you saw 07 do you think that might be one of those I shouldn't say surefire, because obviously in this game nothing is surefire, but one of those very legitimate ways that we could see steps his defense being broken?
Well, what 07 just did?
Yeah.
That is, yes, it's a classic legitimate way of doing it. that goes all the way back to the previous format, where the cap circle was actually in a worse place than it is now for what we're doing.
Okay.
We used to essentially set up a T32, screen T1s, blah blah blah. So, same principle. Draw them to make them come to reset cap or to deal with cap, and then attack them from the side. They get put in a no-win situation. It's not as though there is not a hard counter to that, but it is one of the beginning ways of breaking steps, a building block, if you will, and a much better way of running the northern cap than just hoping the enemy team doesn't reset you or dedicating a tier 8 to die to screen something.
Actually, never actually seen that work ever. Pasta. I combined Hull with Fosta. Hull takes some shots onto Fosta down in the southern corner. I'm not sure if he actually spots him or he's taking those blind shots because they're not getting really close to him at all. But Fosta is in his AMX-12T is just sitting down there, making sure they don't get flagged, doing a good job spotting Vetro. Mako's now coming over the top, now in that A3 position. David, another thing I wanted to talk about is, for the side of Rival, we see on defense people finding that boosting position to get up in the hills over by the B0, B0, A0 area. If a team is in the middle of that, we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I guess it's safe because very rarely do we see the offensive team on steps rush for this eastern cap. So you're very unlikely to be caught out there for Rival. But if you see a team doing that a lot, you start kind of developing a strategy. Why don't we see more teams just rush that eastern cap? Because if you do get that caught out, that seems like just a guaranteed instant win.
I'm not 100% on the timing on that. I'm not sure if it's possible to catch a team mid-boost.
Okay.
You could probably catch the guy right after he was boosted, which is pretty much just as good. The problem is you're risking so much with that gamble.
Gotcha.
That, I mean, it's
just not worth it.
It's not really worth it unless you know for certain it's going to happen.
That makes sense. You don't want to do something that is too risky. Obviously, you want to go ahead and play safe, play the way to win, unless you have some sort of amazing knowledge that your team is doing that. Fosta starting to apply cap pressure here in that AMX-12T. Now, David, the setup we've got now going on for 07, is this pretty much the same thing we saw last time?
No, because their T-32 is moving forward. So perhaps they may have discovered one thing, and it's that the IS-3 doesn't exactly have the best depression and the best angles over here, and that perhaps he would have been better as a T-54. Although I'm not sure how much that alpha played into it. I personally would think a T-54 is better, so they may be doing the exact same thing, as you pointed out, and just improving on it a little bit by using more T-54s up closer to this T-32 and focusing a little bit less on the cap. Because, I mean, Rival does have to poke over regardless here in 80 or so seconds, right?
Sure.
No real point in dedicating that many people on cap where they don't have shots. Put more of them over by this T-32, and you'll get a higher return, a higher payout. Unless Rival just pivots more people into the south and comes up more from the south than they did from the other side, but I don't think they necessarily will. It's a large trek for them, and that gives up a lot of other strategic possibilities. So, very good chance we'll see 07 do the same thing twice. Slight adjustments.
Okay, now looking at HK and the Django, and now also in that similar position, are they doing it? Are they doing their move quicker than last time, which would then equal a better chance for for Rival to reset without taking as much damage, or are they still far bound? But while we're talking, Warbander in the T-54 looks like he's going to be the first focus for Rival. 3 members now going across, but HK taking a good chunk of damage. Nubis going to look for the shot to finish off Warbander. He actually finds Fosta just as close to pick up there. Warbander just surviving by the skin of his teeth. 14 health in that T-54. He is finding his way back home to his teammates. They're coming around the side to try to support what was going on there. Rival going down the Django, being taken down by Synergy, and now 6v5 in favor of 07, but the HP is about 1,200. Nope, never mind. World War II Fnatic taking another shot. It looks like from Rocks there, or Warbender, one of the two. Either way, the HP going down further and further for 07. Synergy and Warbender are one more shot away. The cap pressure has been applied again, but Anubis finding Warbender, shutting that one down. And David, it looks like Rival might be in a good position to stop what 07 was thinking about doing.
Rival is certainly looking better now than they did before that push. I think they wanted to pick up a T-54 in exchange for those two WZ-131s. However, they basically did pick up a T-54 and kept a WZ-131 alive.
Gotcha.
They probably could have killed one a little bit faster. ended up getting 2 anyways. So overall worth, they are in significant position to take this one.
And Anubis finding Makos as well. Roxas, he's pushing up, getting punished for that move. Vetro coming up the side, finding HA, forcing Anubis out, but Valkyrie gonna find ZXFT. Let's see if Synergy can do anything. Vetro does find Anubis, and now Rox and Synergy are both one-shot. That is not a good position to be in if you are some tanks. Over 1,000 now. About 2,000 points. Now over 2,000 as Vetro taking the punishment from Rival from all around the sides. Urtai picking up Synergy. Now it is just Rox and Vetro left, and being on offense, again, not a position you want to be in if you are 07. One more shot, Rox will go down. 2 more shots, Vetro will go down. There goes Rox. 1v4. 07. Looks like they're going to lose this one. Rival going to pick up a victory on defense on steps. 30 seconds as well. They don't need to do anything, but look, they're just going to anyway. They're sending Hull over into his T-54. Valkyrie pushing up as well, taking the shot, getting the ramp damage, finishing that one off. A beautiful, explosive way to end that battle. Rival tying it up now, 3-3. Seems like you were right in the pre-show. You talked about this was the game that potentially had the opportunity to go on, going back and forth, and both these teams just kind of exchanging fight for fight, fight after fight.
Only statistic worth mentioning in that point, World War II Fnatic for Rival, putting up roughly 2,200 damage.
Wow.
Both teams looking fairly similar from that point forward, 1,500, 1,300, 1,200, 1,000.
Okay.
Down the list, top damage for 07 was Makos. That's it. Rival just took a timeout.
That's right. Got that there for all.
Canadian teams are tied 3-3. Got 2 games left.
Yeah.
In the 2 games
and gonna
left.
go on offense.
And yeah, Rival has to go on offense now.
Yeah.
They did drop one, and they held one. So Synergy, that's Synergy. Synergy 3K on the team
there
of 07. Not
That's
wrong.
The confusion.
They can drop one game on defense and still tie up the whole thing.
Right.
But then it goes to Ghost Town. And
Hmm.
I don't know which one of these teams would be better on Ghost Town.
Okay.
Legitimately have no idea which one's going to be better at steps, because both teams have done good things and bad things on steps.
That's true. That's
better,
true.
more variance in overall strategic know-how than I expected to see today. Not because these teams aren't worth it, just because we haven't seen it out of teams for the longest time. I feel like I've been watching the same North Cap on steps for like 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
For most people, but both 07 and Rival showing they know better than that on both offense and defense. So just interested to see what happens here.
Absolutely. Going back to actually what we just saw from 07 and Rival, switching the IS-3 out on the side of 07, do you think that's what caused them to fail in that aspect? It worked better for them the first time than the second time.
No. They took too long. Either they need to put on higher cap pressure or engage in that side flank, or there's a number of different things they can do. Like I said, when I first started drawing on the map, showing that angle, how it gets really complicated the instant you pass like one tile. It's like, okay, now that you get here,
And
there's like 4 different things you can do.
Right.
I think that Rival just made a very strong counterplay, and the 2 WZ-131s really opened up options for them as it cranked out a ton of DPM on a 54 that got caught out, which I believe was Makos.
Okay.
Was caught in the middle, and Rival knew where he was, and they set the 2 WZ-131s after him, and I think that was probably the biggest linchpin in overall what we just saw there, essentially losing a T-54 for almost nothing.
Okay. Now I know you've played and you guys were playing in a different format when you were in the game. But are there similar things you're seeing from then to now? Obviously, the original Northern Cap, you said that was definitely from the older format. But are you seeing anything? Are you crazy new things, or is it pretty much kind of the same, just tweaked a little bit?
I mean, the maps are still the same, so a lot of the concepts are still the same, and there are little tweaks. In particular, there's a lot less risk in a lot of things.
Okay.
Because only one team can be capped now, whereas 2 could be in the past. I
Sure.
don't want to talk about 742 that much,
Right?
Because it's dead for a reason.
Great. Well, let's get into 754, ladies and gentlemen. The next battle, all tied up, 07 versus Rival. We've switched sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
07 with 2 T-32s, 4 T-54 lightweights and AMX-12T. T-Rival with RU-251, 5 T-54 lightweights and a T-37.
Okay, now looking at this this lineup for the side of Rival, do you think they're going to go for an Eastern cap rush? We have seen that when they bring a lot of T-54s. No.
They can really go anywhere with that lineup.
Oh, okay. Just get a lot of light tanks
I
going
think if you're going to go east, what would really broadcast it, to me at least, is an IS-3 and a T-32. that's what really broadcasts it to me, because I can see IS-3 being used. We got another boost coming out here. Nothing new, nothing fancy. Oh,
but it's always
fancy,
fun. Nothing new,
but
nothing
not
fancy, but always fun to watch. All 6 members. Foster the only one sitting out in the C5 line, doing a little bit of spotting there. Oh, just turn it. No, not that way. Oh, no. An absolute tragedy there for the side of 07.
A lot of time wasted.
That is a lot of time wasted, allowing Team Rival to kind of set up in that position. Obviously, they just said, forget it. Is that the right thing to do? You don't want to try it again, right?
If you try it again, you'll lose. Very likely you'll lose. I mean, Rival would be very quickly trying to figure out where you are, thinking you just flanked hard south. Unless you just got really lucky poking over that, Rival would probably find you and rip you up.
Gotcha. Urtai Valkyrie now, an RU-251 and a T-54 moving over the railroad tracks in the northern part of the map here. Valkyrie getting that pretty classic position. We've seen fantastic snipings from Urtai. Now moving over a little further, maybe try to find some spotting himself. But no move really for the cap. Coming out the Rival. Urtai getting right on the corner, finding a nice little bush by the red line there. Vetro taking a shot at him, actually. He has been spotted. He is still spotted. On the side of 07, we have Rox and Vetro right now who are lit up. Fossa in that 12T sitting pretty in a nice little spotting position there. Now looking at what we've got from Rival, because obviously we don't have any sort of push there coming from them. Why do you think they're hesitating to put any sort of crap pressure on?
I think they have a plan.
Oh, that's good.
That they're looking, yeah, it is. That they're looking for some sort of trigger. They're trying to get 07 to do something before they spring it here. But it certainly doesn't look like cap pressure to me.
No.
Although, no, because Hall would be getting ready to do something if that were the case. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Perhaps, okay. Get a little bit of a southern flank now. So, okay. Showing that they have some tanks to establish a northern presence. So 07 believes that it's going to be a northern game. And then flexing down south with the majority of their tanks. Well, 4 at least.
Yeah, they
and then coming up from behind. It can work. Question is, it's really going to come down to exactly how they perform it, and what 07 does in response. Blind fire there.
Yeah, that's usually not something you want to do if you're trying to be sneaky, am I right?
Well, in this instance, they're trying to make sure that nobody can spot them. So unless somebody's there and they're shooting him, it didn't really give away anything.
Okay. Gotcha. Fossa, though, being found out in his bush that he was hiding the whole time. 439 points of damage. The shots, the focus fire from 07, none of them connecting onto Valkyrie up on top. More damage going out. HK taking some shots, nothing connecting. Let's see if Valkyrie can get in a good position to continue to put that pressure on Fossa. But this might be exactly what Rival was looking for, because now all of 07's turrets, well, now they're going back, but 07's turrets were turned to the north.
Rival getting ready to come in on the south flank. 07 not making a quick enough response to anything here. Either they are comfortable in this castle that they've created, or they're going to get wrecked by Rival. Hard to say right now. Get a little bit better view of their positions.
Shots now going out for both the teams and nothing connecting. So obviously whatever sort of surprise the Rival hopefully had, they now no longer have it, and no damage has been done. So let's see how 07 responds. They have now grouped up 6 of their tanks. A massive majority of their force now going over here. It looks like Foster is going to be the one who's going to get caught out here as Valkyrie, HK, and Urtai come around the corner. Urtai taking a little bit of damage there, but Urtai is going to find Foster in response. 2 minutes and 30 seconds now on the cap. Here we go. 2 tanks, though, being put onto the northern on the northern side for Rival. Synergy, Makos, Vetro, and Warband. It looks like they're the ones going to split off and try to respond to this. Urtai and that TPT4 doing a good job of spotting 6 tanks the side of 07 versus the 7 for the side of Rival. 30 seconds now on the clock. Urtai missing the shot. Synergy now looks like he's going to be allowed to freely get over the railroad track. How much punishment can they give him? None at all. A little bit of bunny hop, and he makes it over unscathed. A shot coming out from HK just too late, and the pressure has been removed. Something that I'm sure the Rival was not looking for, but maybe it was, as they have an overmatch. They're going to try to take it over on the side. World War II Fnatic taking a little bit of damage, but they have rushed over against the XFT and Rox. Hole, though, extremely low. One more shot. He'll go down. Rock's going to pick that one up. And now it is a Vetro picking up World War II Fanatic. Urtai trying to respond by taking ZXFT down. Now we have 5 tanks on the side of 5 tanks for Rival. Who's going to come out on top with a minute and 23 seconds? Rival need to turn it on. They need to turn it on now. Mako's fighting Urtai. That is not what you want if you're trying to find the tanks. Valkyrie running in to find Rock. He was going for Ram. No, he goes right on the side, and he dies. Valkyrie taking him down, but 4 tanks pushing against the Django and Anubis. War Banner taking the Django down. Anubis and HK getting dropped extremely low. Makos is on the hunt. He's going to find HK to take that one down, and 07 successfully defending against Team Rival. That was something that was interesting to watch. I actually thought Rival for a moment had that. I thought it was fantastic. They came around. They pulled they pulled 6 members of 07 to defend the Eastern Cap, and then put 2 tanks on. I thought if I were to change anything from my God perspective, it would be instead of putting 2 tanks to put 3 tanks. Do you think that would have changed anything? Because I believe the person who was spotting didn't do, he really didn't do much to try to punish any tanks from coming over the railroad there on the side of a Rival.
Rival just needed to take the not really isolation, but the concave they had.
Huh.
Almost all of 07 was just in a ball, and Rival had great positions.
They just needed
to drop on them.
Sure.
And when 07 took so many tanks into the north, Rival needed to drop on them faster.
There's
just a number of times where it was like, okay, Rival should have this. Okay, now.
Okay.
Okay, now. I don't know what's happening here.
Guys?
All right, well, now 07 gets it, I
Guys?
guess. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Okay.
Difficult to discuss that one. Rival just throwing it away. They had a lot of stuff going for them. Strategically, wasn't terrible. In fact, it was good. And I don't know. Just nope.
Right. Well, and like
Nope.
you're saying, we've kind of seen this also in the Simp versus Lamp match. Lamp getting Simp into a position where it looked like, well, man, if everything goes well, then Lamp should be able to take this. But it just not really collapsing when they needed to. Sort of the theme of what just happened with Rival and 07, wouldn't you say?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There's just too many different things to discuss about what went wrong there.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to wrap my head around as well why 07 took so many tanks in the north, but perhaps they didn't see how many were in the south. I don't know.
Just a lot of confusion.
A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff that
confusion.
shouldn't be happening, as I've mentioned before.
Sure.
When it happens, it's so confusing to me because I can see so many different things that I see more than they see, right?
Sure.
And I wish I could just quickly switch to see what they saw at that moment and be like,
Okay.
how many tanks did they see? And then I could explain it a little bit more clearly. But
Right.
all I can think is like a million different scenarios going through my head about why they might have done this or why they could have done that.
Sure.
Many
Sure.
of which result in
Almost
I
endless.
still don't understand why they did it. So
Well, good. That's good. I mean, as long as it's still that confusing, even when you have all the information, it must be that much harder for the actual players in the
kind
tanks.
of a throw is what I result in a lot of the time.
All right, 07 did take a timeout. We're actually getting ready to get back into the game, but they just need one more victory here against Rival, and they'll take it. They are on defense, so I mean, would you like to be? Of course you want to be 07. That's a dumb question. Of course you want to be 07 now. You're on defense. You're on steps. You only have one more victory, and you're going to take it. The question is, does Rival just need to improve on what they just did, or do you think we're going to see that just scratch that?
I don't know if 07 will fall for it twice.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they definitely need to have that in their playbook to improve on what they just did. They
Gotcha.
also need to improve on, well, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I
We
think
get
we're
to
about to
see
see
it
lineups. So.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're into our next battle. 07 versus Rival. 07 just needing one more to take the victory. Let's see if Rival can tie it up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it and see what we've got for our tanks.
07, 2 T32s, 4 T54 lightweights, and an AMX 12T. Team Rival with an RU251, 5 T54 lightweights, and a T37. Chance that this could be the last match. 07 needing only one more. They are on defense.
That's right. We're now over on the start. Looking at you kind of lineups here, we actually see something different from Rival. They're deciding to go over to the Eastern Cap, pushing 6 of their members, only having HK go to the north. Now, with HK obviously going for the spotting, going to make sure they don't get flanked. But do you think this might be just kind of a variation of the last move? Make 07 think you have members in the north by putting HK on cap quickly and then push with the 6 against the eastern side?
That could very well be what they're doing. as long as they don't get spotted. And right now, 07 has amazing spotting on everything, given where Fosta is in his bush. He can see with his binoculars up there. He can see almost everything. He already sees HK.
He sees
So,
all.
Be very hard to convince 07 that you're up there right now.
Sure.
Because they can see that you're not. But that doesn't mean that coming in from the south is a bad option. Like we've discussed, if you know all the ins and outs of that area, it's very likely a good option more often than not. Because if you know it, and while the learning curve is very steep, if you know it, it's almost an easy win.
Well, another thing also is 07 doesn't have anyone up on the hill, which we usually see is a very key position for defenders to have to find that defensive position.
Yeah, if Rival knew that for sure, they may be much more willing to push up this middle, because that's one of the best ways of closing on. You can ride that ridge to get very close to your enemy, just put more tanks on one and quickly. In order to defend steps, you have to generate some amount of isolation from your tanks. We can take a quick look at that pretty easily here. Fly out a little bit. Makos and Warbander, somewhat isolated from ZXFT and Rocks. Right. Not in firing lines. Vetro can help them as well. Not in, all in firing lines. They're connected. But the thing is, when you have that many tanks, when you have 5 or 6 tanks, or even 7, pour up and over that berm, you can maybe shoot on one of them at a time. It's sort of a natural HP sharing as you circle the wagon around somebody, and you can end up using tanks like Warbander, Makos, but especially Rocks as cover from the enemy team. Or in this case, you can use Rocks to protect yourself from ZXFT and Vetro and Synergy, the rest of his team. So once you get that first move and you drop in on them from relative stealth, it's a pretty easy win, especially if nobody's back there. The trick is knowing those angles and running them and not getting wrecked. And right now, Airtie, World War II Fnatic, Anubis are almost where they need to be. Anubis is doing a little bit of preliminary scouting.
Yeah.
To see if he can get there. I gotta write one of those 3 times. And if Rival takes that advantage, they can drop right on top of 07 and potentially clean it up. Problem is, biggest problem for Rival, 07 has 400 more hit points right now. DPM is in the favor of Rival, I believe. I haven't actually run the numbers.
Well, now Rival's just giving up.
T32 versus 54 lightweight.
Well, I should say giving up on the Eastern gap.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to give up the match.
They're throwing it. No.
They could go up the middle here and try and come in from behind 07. In this instance, I would say this is a situation where shifting around and trying to be mysterious, trying to be unpredictable, showing in one area, taking it away and putting it in another, is becoming a pattern. And against 07, I don't think it's going to work out, because 07's positions are actually better prepared for that. That Eastern fight, as unfavorable as it was, might have been the best situation that Rival would have had to tie this up so far.
Sure. Well, and also just seeing the fact that again, I was going to ask you if Rival was going to continue to push, if it would have been worth 07 to take a tank and try to quickly get up on the hill, or not. We have some time. What do you think would have been the correct response there?
No. If you're not already on the hill,
just don't go for it.
And you don't know you can get there safely, don't go there, because it can just as easily be a throwaway.
There we go. HK trying to put some cap pressure on, but getting lit up, getting dropped down to 199 points. Now down to 0. Makos picking that one up. 07 finding the first pickup of this battle. 07 again just needing one more victory to close out the night. Rival needing one more to tie it up and to not lose this final matchup. Fosta and Synergy doing a good job taking some damage there. Actually, Fosta hasn't shot. Look, he's just doing his job spotting Valkyrie in the RU-251, just missing the tree. But there is no Artie, so I'm not sure how devastating that would have been. I've been so excited, focusing on the destructible proponents of this game.
Looks like Fosta actually got tagged, maintained discipline, and didn't move.
Oh.
Super baller camo, though. It fits that bush perfectly.
Well done, sir. Well done indeed. The Django in his T-54, though, if he pops up the side, he should be able to pick up Fosta. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not correct, then I'm wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute and 28 seconds now on this battle, and no cap pressure, still not looking good for Rival.
With only a minute and 20, only way for Rival to effectively win is to cap.
Oh no, Hall getting absolutely lit up. Beautiful focus fire. Vetro picking up that kill. Synergy trying to take cover.
Oh.
Makos going down. Everyone running right into the line of 07's fire. Team Rival dropping like flies one by one. The Django over in the north is going down as well. 58 seconds. He does find Synergy, but it is 6v3, and they would have to throw all Team Rival would have to throw all tanks onto Cap right now to be able to stand a chance against 07, and that is not happening. So I am confidently going to say that 07 should and will be able to pick up this final victory against Team Rival. Team Rival looked like they may have had a certain sort of plan, may have had an overmatch or a certain flank or an opportunity to win. Just didn't collapse upon it. Rox finds the Django. Now just 2 tanks remain for Rival. 1,400 health. They'll go down quickly as ZXFT and Vetro, Makos, Warbander, everyone actually running in to get a part of this. Valkyrie does find Vetro. 14 seconds now. Anubis, the last and final remaining member on the team. There he goes. He goes down. Now 5-0. 07 picking up that victory. Congratulations to them finding that match against Rival. David, out of just that last match, but also just the matches we've seen so far, the battles between Rival and 07 there. Is there a theme you saw coming up from Rival that was the reason they didn't quite pick up those victories, those final 2 ones against 07?
Fear, I guess, the best way to put it. But honestly, I'm struggling to find anything to comment on the 07 Rival match. I feel like I'm losing my mind that went so long.
Okay. All right. Well, and that it did. But David, luckily for you, that was the 4th and final matchup of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys missed anything, let's go ahead and look at what you guys missed. Up first, we had Noble versus Game Over. Noble beating Game Over 5-3, followed by Simp clean sweeping Lamp 5-0. Elevate clean sweeping Maple Freedom 5-0 was our 3rd match. And finally, what you guys just saw, 07 beating Rival 5-3. David, out of the 4 matches we saw tonight, what was the highlight for you?
You know, like I just said, I feel like I'm losing my mind. It went so long. I would have to say it was somewhere in the Noble versus Game Over.
Okay.
Now, you know what? I'm going to have to go with the 07 Rival. It is still fresh in my mind. 07 Rival with, I believe it was Rival. No, it was 07 doing the offensive break from the north. It was a little bit sloppy, but it was the first time I've seen anybody this season do it.
Right.
At all. A
And
lot of other teams have come up with other ways of doing it, but that was the first time I've seen what I consider a classic, what I consider somewhat of a standard, and the easiest way to do it.
Cool.
The most reliable way to do it. So, nice to see that happen.
Absolutely. Mine would have to be the Simp versus Lamp, just on the thing we were talking about just previously of where it looked like Simp was in a position where they actually would have been punished if they came through, and Lamp either just not quite being able to take the shots they needed to, or Simp doing a great job in a place where they should have fallen. But again, that clean sweep 5-0. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, go ahead and follow us on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. Thank you all of you who followed us on battleviewer.com and watched it there. Next time you have an opportunity to do that. And follow us on Twitter @WGLNA. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, Thursday, July 30th is going to be our next 4 matchups. We have some fantastic ones for you. Up first will be Synergy versus High Voltage, followed by Refuse versus Game Over. #RU versus Lamp will be 3rd. And finally, Noble versus Simp to clean up the night there. Make sure you guys turn in. That's going to be a fantastic. Hopefully, we'll continue to see these changes in the rosters not the rosters, but the standings go through as we continue the season. On behalf of everyone here at the WGLNA, that has been DW David Williams. I am Christian Toma, and always, thanks for stopping.